30 years ago when I started teaching this stuff, I was first teaching people how to get out of debt, live on a budget, live on less than you make. So you have a plan, you avoid debt, you save money for emergencies and later for investing. And all of those principles work, but people kept saying, which one do I do first? And so I started laying out, well, you should do this first and that first. You should have an emergency fund before you start your 401k. And then I figured out it's easier to have an emergency fund if you don't have any payments. And so you need to get out of debt first. Because, of course, I learned my lesson the hard way, going bankrupt and getting out of debt, and learning how important it was to be debt-free as a process, as a part of building wealth. So all of that started to formulate after a few years of teaching in various settings, and it started becoming what we now call the baby steps. And they have become the proven plan, the shortest distance between where you are now and wealth. And we need a path to run on, because the way you eat an elephant, it's overwhelming. Do I do my 401k with the match, or my kid's college? Or do I have an emergency fund? Or do I pay on this 18% credit card debt? Or, and nothing gets done. You get paralysis of the analysis, you get frozen.
Absolutely. And it all starts with baby step one, having this foundation, saving $1,000 for a starter emergency fund. This is just a small buffer between you and life before we start tackling the debt.
Exactly. Baby step one should not take you more than 30 days. Maximum. You need to work extra, sell some stuff, have a garage sale, put the kids on Craigslist, whatever you got to do here. Let's get it done. And, we're going to get busted into this, get $1,000 quick. And if you have $1,000 already, great. Just set that aside. That's your baby step one. Baby step two, any money you have that's not retirement, anything you can sell that is not retirement, you're going to liquidate it. If it's not retirement, you got some stock over here that grandpa left you. You got a gold bar under your bed. I don't know what it is, but you got any money that's above $1,000. Maybe you got $10,000 in a savings account. That's $9,000 you've got that you don't need past baby step one. We're going to put it all on baby step two. And baby step two is the famous one. That's the debt snowball, where you list your debts smallest to largest. You pay minimum payments on everything but the little one, and you attack the little one with a vengeance. Baby step two, you should be debt-free but your house. Now, you may have to sell a stupid boat. You may have to take an extra job. But most people that have followed the Total Money Makeover baby steps in Financial Peace University are debt-free inside of 2 years.
Yeah. And once you pay off all that debt, now you've freed up all those payments.
Wow.
We're breathing easy. And then we can move on to baby step three, where we save 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. This is the final buffer where we say we're never going back into debt, because we are the bank now.
Yep. You need to be ready when crap happens. There's a pandemic coming around every corner. There's something coming, and if you have $20,000 cash in the bank, 3 to 6 months of expenses, whatever it is, and you have no payments, you're ready for life. You're ready to go. Now you're ready to build wealth. But that you just now have gotten up to ground zero. You've just now gotten up to even. When you have that emergency fund and you're debt free, now you're ready to build wealth. And in baby step 4, you put 15% of your income aside into good growth stock mutual funds in retirement plans. Start where there's a match. Beyond the match, always do Roth. And if you've exhausted Roth and match and still are not to 15%, then go on to a traditional 401k or IRA. But do Roths before traditional and do match before Roths. It's mathematically in your favor to do that, up to the 15%. Don't do 20%, don't do 11%, do 15%. While you are doing baby steps 4, you're also going to be doing 5 and 6 simultaneously.
Absolutely. So baby step 5 is where we're saving for our children's college fund. And this is going to look different for everyone. There's no set number here because it really depends on your situation.
Did you have the baby last week, or is the baby 18? That makes a difference on how much you need for college, right? What you got to do for college. Just like, is this an oh crap moment, or hey, we're going to be diligent and save? Did we wait almost until too late? Now, they have to go to college debt-free. They cannot participate in this epic student loan system failure that is called America right now. It is horrible out there. Do not let your kids go in debt. You do not have to go to debt. Go to community college for free for 2 years. Go to in-state school. Work 6 jobs, get scholarships. Our student loan problem is a parenting problem. Mom and dad let kids sign up for crap they couldn't afford. Bad mama, bad daddy.
They got to have the conversations. That's
Yeah.
where it starts. And
So-
there's a reason you say baby step 4, invest for yourself before the kids, because there's a 100% chance you're going to retire. There's a 50-50 chance or less these days that your kid's going to go to college.
And graduate.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's less than 50% chance they're going to graduate. So this is important. So while you're doing 15%, you do whatever you need to do for your kids' college, whatever you decide to do for your kids' college. Beyond that, if you can find any money, you do that on baby step 6, and that's pay off your house. Start chunking on the house. Now, when you're in 1 through 3, you are so intense your friends are freaking out. Your grandmother thinks you need counseling. You are gazelle intense like a gazelle running from a cheetah. When you're in 4 through 7, you're not intense anymore. You are now intentional. You're just doing it on purpose. But you're no longer on beans and rice. You're on beans and rice, rice and beans. Scorched earth on 1 through 3 till you get those 3 things done. Now, get that house paid off. The average person following this stuff is paying off their home in about 7 or 8 years. Now, that tells us that the whole program is taking about 10 years, and the average baby steps millionaire, the average everyday millionaire that we've studied, we're finding them become a millionaire from the time they start with intensity followed by intentionality, become a millionaire in about 10 and a half years.
Yeah.
11.2 years, 10.6 years are the two numbers we keep running into. So this is completely possible. Yeah, you will be a millionaire shortly after your home is paid for if you don't at that moment, and then you continue to build wealth. And you enjoy the money at that
That's where
point.
it gets fun.
That is the baby steps.
You've covered the necessities like rent, the light bill, and groceries. And now you've got some money left over. You know you're supposed to be saving, but where do you even start? The first principle is to focus on retirement. For most people, retirement is likely to be the biggest financial goal of their lives. So you may want saving and investing to be a major focus. But if there are financial burdens that could jeopardize your retirement savings, removing them is an important priority. That's why an emergency fund is the place to start. Unfortunately, most Americans don't have enough saved to take care of a surprise $500 expense like an emergency room visit or car repair, let alone something more severe like losing your job. To protect your long-term savings, you can make setting aside 3 to 6 months of expenses a top priority. To figure out how much you need, add up your essential monthly expenses, things like rent, utilities, and groceries. It may be helpful to keep your emergency fund in a separate savings account that you can access quickly but won't be tempted to borrow from for day-to-day expenses. This account can act as a buffer, so you don't have to pull out the credit card or raid your retirement account when you find yourself in a jam. Once you've got an emergency fund, consider shifting your focus to another common retirement savings obstacle: high-interest debt. So credit cards, personal loans, and especially payday loans. Debt with a high interest rate is likely to grow faster than any money you invest for retirement. Now, it may make sense to put money toward retirement before paying down high interest debt if your employer matches contributions to a retirement plan like a 401k. If your employer offers a match, contribute just enough to get the full amount. You don't want to pass up free money, so it can be a good idea to prioritize getting that match over paying down debt. Once you've got debt under control, you're ready to focus even more on retirement. A commonly held rule is to save at least 15% of your income for retirement. So where should you put all that money? Consider using tax-advantaged investment accounts and minimizing fees to potentially maximize your savings growth. Retirement accounts like 401ks and IRAs offer tax benefits that can potentially allow your money to compound more quickly. However, 401ks sometimes carry fees that can eat into savings. If your employer matches, you should still contribute enough to get the full match, but you may want to consider contributing anything beyond that to an IRA, which might have lower fees and more investment choices. After maxing out retirement savings, the next step pretty much depends on your circumstances, but the same principle applies. Using tax-advantaged accounts can help to potentially maximize your savings. For example, if you're saving for a kid's college, consider contributing to a 529 plan. It might seem strange that a child's education is a lower priority than something as far off as retirement, but remember, borrowing for college might be easier than borrowing to fund your golden years. Healthcare is another major expense that may require saving. If you're on a high-deductible health plan, a health savings account is another tax-advantaged account you might want to consider. HSAs are designed to let you set aside and invest untaxed cash to pay out of pocket for medical expenses. The combination of tax benefits and potential growth from investments may make an HSA an attractive vehicle for saving for medical expenses in retirement. If you're lucky enough to have maxed out all the tax-advantaged accounts that are available to you, you could also consider investing for long-term goals in a regular, taxable brokerage account. A final principle to remember is that investing may not be prudent for short-term goals, like a vacation or a down payment on a house. You may not have time to recover from market downswings, so you might also want to consider using a high-interest-bearing savings account rather than investing money you'll need in the next few years. If you've made it to this point, congratulations, you're a savings pro. The important principles to remember are to focus on retirement, use tax-advantaged investment accounts, and invest for long-term rather than short-term goals.